recipe alert, and not just for saltiness isn't bliss, but also in my kitchen. This is the first time I am making this recipe, so let's hope it goes well, right? So tonight I am featuring chicken pot pie casserole. So we want to preheat our oven to 350. And in a large bowl, we are going to start combining all of our ingredients that will then transfer into our casserole dish and go and cook and bake in our oven. So we're going to start with, where do I want to start? I got all this good stuff right here. I'm going to start with my veggies. So a great shortcut for this recipe is that you can buy a bag of frozen mixed vegetables. You can always go with fresh, you can go with canned, whatever you have, whatever's easiest. But this is a great shortcut. So I am using a medley that is broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots. You can tweak that any way you like to any vegetables you love. And this bag is 12 ounces. So the other nice thing about this is there's no real set amount, there's no real set measurement for your veggies. So if you want your casserole to have more vegetables, add more. You want less, add less. You get the idea. So we're just going to dump those right in the bowl. I did let them thaw a little bit just so they will mix a little easier. But for the most part, they're still pretty frozen. And I'm just going to kind of skim through them, make sure there aren't any real big stumps I need to pull out, but it looks good. Next up is 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 can of cream of chicken soup. If you can find the healthy version, awesome, because that cuts significantly down on the sodium that is in the canned soup. So we want that whole can going in there. All right, so one of our last ingredients is going to be 1 cup or 8 ounces of sour cream. Just gonna put that whole thing in there. I have to say, guys, I usually use a spoon to do this and the soup, and the spatula really, especially using the small size spatula, that really makes it go a whole lot quicker. But of course, you can use whatever you have and whatever is easiest for you. But that would be my tip tonight is if you have a spatula handy, use that because it really just gets in there and gets it all out. All right, guys, very last ingredient that's going to go in our bowl and kind of what is going to really make our casserole pop with flavor is our chicken. So I am very lucky in that the grocery store that I went to has a little section across from their deli where they have cuts of meat that are already cooked, already seasoned, ready to go, so it makes it so much quicker and easier. So this is actually just over ½ a pound of rotisserie chicken meat that I'm going to kind of rip up with my fingers and put it in the bowl to mix in with everything else that's going to create our casserole. You can buy a whole rotisserie if you like. Just pull the chicken off of there, pop that in your bowl. You can use canned chicken. You can go with raw chicken, cook it up, and then shred or rip that up, put that in here. We want to make sure whatever chicken we are putting in our bowl is fully cooked. But you can use as little or as much as you like depending on how much you want in your casserole. And also you can use a shortcut like I did. All right, guys, there is the back side of my chicken pieces. And of course the dog is right below me just in case I drop them. And so I'm going to take them one at a time and just kind of rip them into small pieces and drop those pieces right down in my bowl. And those will be my addition of meat and chicken and flavor to my casserole. So you are just going to repeat those steps until all your chicken is small pieces in your bowl or dumped in there depending on what type of chicken you use. All right, guys, there it is, pre-mixed in my bowl. Next step, of course, roll your sleeves up, get your muscles ready, or maybe just have your cameraman do it when the camera's off. Mix all these ingredients together. We want to make sure we mix and blend them really well, and then we will move on to actually putting them in our casserole dish and creating what is going to be our chicken pot pie casserole. All right, so all my ingredients are mixed together in my bowl. Next step is to take your casserole dish. You can go with glass, you can go with metal, as long as it's about 9 by 13. Doesn't matter what material you use. And then we just want to put a nice coat of cooking spray all the way around. Make sure to get the sides too. So there's that. And now we want to dump our whole bowl right into our casserole dish. All right, so we've just dumped our mixed casserole in the dish. Now we want to take the back of our spoon or a spatula or whatever you've got handy and just spread that in the dish as evenly as we can. Okay guys, so very last step, and what is really going to pull our casserole together and really create the full chicken pot pie casserole is a tube of biscuits. So these are refrigerated biscuits. You can go with any flavor, any style you love. These are honey butter. I actually didn't know this flavor existed and just could not resist. So this is the one that I will be using tonight. So we want to open the tube, which, forgive me if I have weird facial expressions and look scared. I am not a fan of opening these because you never know when they're gonna pop open. All right, guys, there's our delicious biscuits hiding in there. And yes, my cameraman opened this for me too. That's why I keep him around. And what is his pay? Delicious meals, right? Anyway, so we want to pull our biscuits out. I don't know if we will end up using all of them, but for now, I'm gonna just pull a handful of them out, cut them up, and we'll see where we're at. So the idea here is you've got one round biscuit. You want to cut that into fours. So you want to cut it in half, and then you're going to cut your half in half. And then we're just going to lay those cut up biscuit pieces right on top of the casserole there. And we're just going to repeat those steps until the whole casserole is lined with the biscuits. So that's why I'm not sure if it will take all of them. Also, these are a little bit on the larger side. Some of the biscuits in the tube are a little bit smaller, so it really depends upon which ones you're using and how big you slice them. So right now we're about halfway done, and I'm on my third biscuit here. And you can decide how close you put them together in there. They don't have to be spread apart. I just wanted to spread them apart a little bit, but you can kind of fill in the gaps. I've got that really big chunk of broccoli that I'll just kind of leave alone and not try to put a biscuit on. So this is biscuit number 4 here, and I think I'll be good with that. Yeah, so there we go. So in here I had a total of 8 biscuits. I ended up using half or 4 of the biscuits out of the tube on top of the casserole. Again, you can tweak that to make it work for you if you want a little bit more on there, a little bit less, or your biscuits are a different size than the ones I used. So now we're gonna pop that into a preheated oven for 30 to 35 minutes. I will see you then. My cozy casserole is all out of the oven, or I should say all cooked and out of the oven. It smells so good. I wish you guys could smell it. Take a look. So basically you want to cook it about a half hour and just make sure that your biscuits have that nice little golden color to them. So let's see if I can get this out of here. There we go. That scooped out a lot easier than I thought it would. Look at that, guys. All the different flavors and chunks that we added in there. Gonna add another piece of biscuit in there. It is so creamy and gooey, and you can just kind of take a piece of the biscuit, scoop up some of the chicken. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.